Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're diving into a topic I know a lot of you are eager to hear about, becoming a professional Forex trader.
Always a hot topic.
Right. And to help us unpack this, I've got this book right here, Become a Professional Trader. So let's get right into it. One thing that really struck me early on is how the book, well, it doesn't sugarcoat it, It straight up says a lot of folks approach Forex like a casino, not a career.
And that's where the trouble often starts, right?
Absolutely. And this book makes this, well, I thought it was a brilliant comparison. It talks about how, think about other professions, right? Like, say, doctors, pilots, even mechanics. They all go through tons of training, years of it, mentors, simulations, tough exams, all that before they ever deal with, a real life situation.
It's about that solid foundation, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. But then you look at a lot of aspiring traders, and it's like they jump into live markets with like almost no second thought, risking their hard-earned money, just hoping to, I don't know, figure it out on the fly.
Yeah, it's like, here's my life savings. Let's see what happens.
It's wild, right? The book even mentions how some people, they won't even blink at spending, hundreds, even thousands on a risky trade, but then they hesitate to invest even like $50 on a trading book or a course.
It's mind-boggling. It's like saying, I'll skip driving school, just hand me the keys to that race car.
That's a perfect way to put it. And speaking of, crashing and burning, there's this phrase the book uses, trading accidents.
Yeah.
And the point it makes is that these aren't just, random flukes of the market. It's saying that these accidents are often the predictable result of just jumping in totally unprepared. It's like, imagine someone saying, don't worry, I'm going to wing this brain surgery.
Makes you shudder, doesn't it? And yet, that's what untrained Forex trading can feel like.
Definitely scary. And this book is very clear that in that kind of scenario, someone is always ready to profit from, well, basically your lack of knowledge,
100%. It's like, welcome to the market. Here's how you become the house's advantage.
And that's a good point because it's easy to think it's just you versus the market, but really,
It's you versus everyone else who knows more than you.
And that's why the book really emphasizes how important it is to actually learn the ropes, build a solid understanding of how Forex actually works before you even think about,
Putting real money on the line.
Exactly. It's like building a house, right? You need that solid foundation first. And speaking of foundations, there's this really cool analogy in the book about becoming, get this, a race car driver.
Oh, yeah, I love that one. It's so true, though, isn't it? You wouldn't go from, zero to Formula One in a day, right?
Not if you want to survive.
Exactly. First, you need to master the basics of, driving a regular car, understanding how the thing works, the rules of the road, all that. Practice, practice, practice. And build your confidence before you even think about getting behind the wheel of something more, powerful, let's say.
It makes you think about all those ads and gurus out there promising, get rich, quick trading Forex. But this book, it's saying, hold on a second.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly. And this book suggests, it actually says it takes at least 6 months to really get a handle on those core trading principles. 6 months.
It's funny. For some people, 6 months might sound like an eternity. Especially when you hear those stories about, those overnight trading successes.
Oh, I know, right? Like, I turned $100 into $10,000 in 24 hours.
But the thing is, those stories, they're out there, but they're kind of like winning the lottery,
Yeah.
It's not exactly a reliable path to riches. And this book, like we said, it doesn't sugarcoat it. It's very upfront about the fact that consistent trading success, just like, honestly, success in any other field, it takes dedication, discipline, it takes work.
It's about treating it like a craft, wouldn't you say? Just like a musician practices their instrument, a trader needs to be constantly honing their skills.
100%. And just like an athlete wouldn't, wait until game day to practice for the Olympics, this book stresses how important demo accounts are for aspiring traders.
They're like a safe space to experiment.
Exactly. With a demo account, you can test different strategies, see what works for you, get a feel for the trading platform, how you react when things get a little crazy, all without risking your actual money.
So smart. Okay, so you've got the practice part down, but let's talk about those strategies for a second. I will admit, I was a little intimidated when the book started talking about technical analysis and all that.
It sounds scary, right?
It does. But honestly, the way they explain it, it actually makes sense. It's basically about spotting these patterns and trends in the market's, history.
Yeah, and that's just one piece of the puzzle. The book also talks about this other thing, fundamental analysis.
Yes.
This one's all about understanding the bigger picture. Economics, politics, all those things that can impact currency values.
So it's like being an investigator almost. You're piecing together all these clues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of clues and mysteries, this book tells this fascinating story about Jesse Livermore. Have you heard of him?
Yeah. He was like a Wall Street legend, right?
He was.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and this is where it gets really interesting. Jesse Livermore, despite his incredible market insights, even he went bankrupt. Twice.
Wait, seriously, twice?
Twice. And that's where I think a lot of people, they miss this really crucial part of trading.
Which is?
The psychology of it all.
Oh, the mental game.
Exactly. See, Livermore, he was a brilliant trader. But his story, at least how this book tells it, it highlights how even the best of the best can get tripped up by fear, by greed, by letting their emotions make decisions for them. And that's where this whole idea of risk management comes in.
Risk management. It's like what? Having a safety net for your trades?
More like a seatbelt. It might not be the most exciting thing in the world, but it can definitely save you from some nasty wipeouts.
That actually reminds me, I thought it was really interesting how this book, it didn't really spend a whole lot of time talking about like specific trading strategies, or like hot tips, things like that.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I guess it is kind of surprising. You pick up a book called, what was it, Become a Professional Trader. You kind of expect it to be full of those secret formulas for like guaranteed wins, right? Right. But I think this book, it actually makes a really good point that a lot of times chasing those quick wins, it's actually kind of a trap. It's like, trying to build this skyscraper on a foundation of sand.
It's not going to end well.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So instead, this book is really encouraging us to shift our focus. Instead of looking for shortcuts, it's about building that rock-solid understanding of, how markets actually work. Mastering those core principles, like we've been talking about trading psychology, risk management. It's about playing the long game, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. And it goes back to that whole thing we were saying before about treating it like a real profession, right?
That's it.
You don't just become a surgeon overnight, and you're not going to master the markets overnight either. It's a journey.
It really is. And I think, honestly, that's where the real excitement is. It's in that continuous learning, refining your skills, and then just the satisfaction of seeing all that hard work actually pay off over time.
It's like building that like trader's mindset, right?
Yeah.
Discipline over impulsivity, patience over, is it instant gratification?
Yes. It's about becoming a student of the market, constantly learning, adapting, and like you said, having the discipline to stick with it, even when things get tough.
So as we start to wrap up here, is there like one key takeaway that you would want our listeners to walk away with today?
I think the biggest thing is to remember that at the end of the day, Forex trading, it is a profession.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It takes real work, dedication, a willingness to learn and grow. But just like with any other profession, if you're willing to put in the effort, the rewards, I think, they can be amazing, both financially and personally, honestly.
I love that. So well said. And you know what? This whole conversation, it's got me thinking, what if instead of just, dreaming about those profits, what if our listeners took that next step, really dedicated themselves to like mastering these foundational elements we've been talking about? I mean, imagine the confidence and clarity that would bring to your trading. Just something to think about. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up for today. Until next time, everyone, happy trading, and may your risk management always be on point.